It may not be Pokemon X JoJo's, but I promise you this is going to be a banger. Sit back and enjoy this water type only video. So we start off, a little bit of the rule rundown here, and you can see our starters so far. We have a Mudkip and a Cyndaquil and the Mankey. Obviously, this being a water type only run, we are going to be taking the Mudkip. And while I quickly hop on a little nickname for our boy, we take on our rival Blue for the first time, and as he normally does, he takes both of the Pokemon we didn't choose, and he decides to fuse them into this Manquill. But it being a fire type, and we being a water type, yeah, we don't have a problem there. Easy stuff. While you're here, you might as well subscribe. I hope you do enjoy today's video. We pick up Oak's parcel for him because we're an errand girl today. And then we come back and he actually hooks us up with Pokeballs so we can start this Nuzlocke run. And like I said before, we had those rules listed, so go back and check those if you need. So when we do get over here on this route, we can pick up our first Pokemon, Slowpoke, and infuse it into our first fusion, which is... it's kind of cute. Mudpoke. I mean, can't complain there. Definitely a cutie. And then who doesn't love a Wooper? So we definitely have to pick up the Wooper. And I'm sure this thing will be adorable with whatever we fuse it with. And Piplup, that would be a great choice. My number one choice, honestly, right now. And as we do, we see this fantastic little frogman. I don't even know what that is, but it's glorious. Staryu gets grabbed, and how could we avoid putting the Patrick Star pants on? Now in this game, gyms, they work a little bit different. You can only have as many Pokemon as the gym leader does. So here's a quick rundown of that. You choose who you want to go out first. We go with water only against the Togano, and it's got an interesting head for sure. I hit a couple nice confusions to take it down. He sends in his Ace Treebat. It's kind of a concerning Pokemon to face since we are water type, but I think with a couple nice plays we'd be able to take this thing out. So while it's asleep, I hit some nice tail whips to lower that defense a couple stages. It gets out, makes me flinch, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. We start pounding away, and pound we do, and we take down Brock and earn our first badge. Awesome. He also gifts us with a Rock Tomb HM, which is good for the future. I go toward the cave, we start exploring, and we do encounter a Kabuto by smashing a rock, which is awesome, because now we can fuse it with Patrick Star, and yeah, not what we were looking for. Now, they exist. The beautiful Piplup evolves into an adorable Prinplup. And then water only turns into an abomination, unfortunately. Now, Team Rocket's up to something sus in this game. They're in the cave. They got 3 Pokemon. Pokemon Fusion just became a thing, and they're trying to do a tri-fusion already. They sick the scientist on us. A close call does come, and luckily we do take out the Pokemon, defeat the scientist, and their experiment happily fails. We don't want some freak of nature popping out of this cave. That'd be really concerning. So he's pretty upset that we had to fight, and I just end up taking the Dome Fossil. Probably not the smartest move, but that's okay. And then, yeah, our perfect boy evolves into a sickening monster, but that's alright. We go and take on Misty, and honestly, she was a pushover, to be completely real with you. She was super, super easy, which is great, because we're able to pick up the Cascade badge and move on our way, which is sweet. We get Water Pulse, we encounter a Remoraid, which is not too bad. Pick up that. I do love Octillery a lot, so we'll have to see if he does have any cool fusions for us in the future. And while I try to go north, I am going to have to take on Blue for the second time, and he leads with his Mellowfing. Definitely an interesting choice of fusion. I don't know where he picked up a Melaletta, but that is okay, as Remy is leading the way with some Psybeams. And we are pretty leveled on this man at this point. Now this game, I forgot to include, it doesn't let you over level, so you will get capped out at a certain level. It just so happens that at this point in the game, we're able to get so high ahead of Blue in level that we don't really have a concern and don't have to worry about possibly losing our first Pokemon against him. Now this Pylonime in the future, that's his starter. I don't know how it randomized to that, but for the rest of the game, it sticks that way. And he is a menace. Trust me on that. Now, Remy's been doing great in this battle, but Beldum, being the split fire and grass type, can be an issue. Thankfully, with our psychic move, we can take it down pretty easily. And then we do finally make it to Bill's house, and we free him from his cage, and he hooks us up with a ticket on the SS Anne, which is very nice. I encounter an Azurill, which is technically not a water type, but we can evolve it with friendship and get Meryl, the water type. And then just moments later, I encounter a Meryl anyway. And yeah, that Azurill, it's useless now. But we fuse the Octillery and the Meryl, and honestly, I really like this fusion. It works kind of well, and it's able to evolve quite quickly after. We get this little octopus bunny guy, and it's pretty cute. So now we can finally make our way to the SS Anne after all that fun, and while exploring, nothing eventful happens, except for we have to fight Blue again already, and yeah, every time we see this man, he's going to have a new team minus the starter, so he's sending out his Pylodon. I don't know if he realizes by now, but we're only doing water type fusions. I wouldn't be coming out with a ground type and rock type fusion. That is an L on his part. Now his Manium, it's already becoming pretty strong, almost takes Codeine out, but thankfully I have recovered to get myself healthy. And we do have levels on this man, but this is a big fusion already. 3 evolution, and most of my Pokemon are still pretty much babies. Except for Tails here, who is definitely not a baby anymore, as we hit a very strong play rough and take it down. Now his Charflora, it's definitely an interesting looking fella, and definitely not the flower I want to see today, as it lowers my attack by 1 stage, but it's not enough to prevent the play rough from taking him out, and we defeat Blue again. And this happens.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I don't know why we're rubbing out the captain's back. I mean, whatever. I'll be seeing Lieutenant Surge next, who seems to be a fire type in this run. Fire type gym leader, that is, and his Infernoot is no chance against us. Now, his Keck Mortar does look insanely sweet, but, I mean, how do you expect to bring a flamethrower to a water gun fight? His Tails just keeps smacking away. He does send in his Swilquill, and then after that goes out, the Keck Mortar comes back out, and thankfully we do take him down with no casualties, and we do get the Thunder Badge. Now we go and we take our fossil, and normally with the Dome Fossil we would have got Kabuto, but it's randomized in this game, can be any Pokemon, and we actually did get another Mudkip, which is pretty sweet. Codeine evolves and doesn't switch much. Our Mudkip we just picked up evolves very fast since we're further in the game, getting more XP. And while I explore this beautiful power plant trying to grab some items, I do encounter a Mantine, and I decide to pick up that Mantine. And this Mantine is going to fuse. Yeah, definitely interesting there. It's alright though. Now Water Only does evolve, and he's starting to look a little bit normal again, which is cool. And yeah, I do a challenge for an Eevee, and you can tell I'm pretty mad when it randomizes into a Dialga, and I can't use it because it's water type only. Thankfully, though, I do encounter a Feraligatr, where you would normally find like a Growlithe in this game. So, I mean, we're getting to the point already where it's mid-tier and we're getting pretty strong Pokemon, so that's really sweet. And it actually didn't take too many Great Balls, and we pick up this Feraligatr. I decide right away we're doing a Starter Fusion, and that is crazy. That looks so good. Starter Fusions always rock. Now, we do have a question mark here because I didn't have a sprite for this Pokemon that he sent out. This is the only time you'll see this question mark, other than right here as well. Oh, I guess not right here, but there's a couple times in this fight. But other than this, it won't happen again, thankfully. And at this point, his Monomium, it's pretty manageable because we can over-level him pretty easy with the caps. But you'll see later in the run how this thing can be quite a pain. I do hit a super weak Crab Hammer with Codeine. It doesn't do too much, unfortunately. I then decide to go for a Psywave, which does a decent chunk. And another one as I outspeed. It sets up a Hail, which doesn't do much. He unfortunately heals, and we just keep chipping away with the Psywaves. His moves aren't very effective. I am getting very low by the Hail, so I get a little concerned. Send in They Exist, and with that, he uses an Ice Fang, I hit a Mud Bomb, and the Magnonium faints. He sends in, hopefully the last time we'll see this question mark this entire run, a Scio Awesome. I'm assuming this was probably a Suicune and Blossom fusion, and, you know, I don't know how anyone would have made a good fusion for that yet, so I'm not surprised it didn't have a sprite ready for it. And it's actually putting in some pretty good work. I'm getting a little concerned here, so we sit and assess our decision. I finally decide it's probably a good idea just to switch out in a fair tomp, and I'm hit with a gust, which doesn't do too much damage. A rock slide does minimal, unfortunately. That's alright. I'm hit with a leer to lower my defense, but bite takes it out. Luckily for me, he only has a Galnia left, and this is a super slow Pokemon. We outspeed. A couple bites later, we defeat our rival for the 3rd time. And yeah, we get to this point in the game, which is my least favorite part of playing Pokemon Infinite Fusion. I mean, I don't have a problem with Erica. She's honestly one of my favorite trainers. I just don't really like having to go in the sewer, doing the sewer puzzle with Team Rocket up in here. I mean, this would be a great shiny hunt, as, you know, we can encounter 2 at once. It's also a good look at what her Pokemon are for the sneak peek at the next gym. Our Fairtomp evolves, and it's still amazing. How can you hate that? We have a few evolutions here as they exist. Doesn't get much better, but it's something. Water only, our starter evolves. He actually looks pretty good. We pick up a Pinsir for 4,000 coins, and it turns out to be a Palkia, which is amazing. Water type dragon legendary there that we can definitely use. I was super excited about this, but before we do anything with that, we're going to take on Erica, who leads with her Harrow Leaf. I don't know why, but this fusion actually kind of works with the red leaf coming out. But, you know, it doesn't work too well for her is some play roughs, as she does try to heal up with some hyper potions. But a few of those later, I mean, we're kind of just wiping. Our boy Tails here, he's got no problem just repeatedly blasting with the play rough. I mean, he's a tanky lad, too. Like, 121 HP, level 39, it's definitely a decent Pokemon. Probably my favorite so far in this run. Now this Shyvile is very annoying with how much it set up defense, and it did get me quite low, so when the Nidotang does come out, I do kind of puss, and I have to switch because I'm not trying to lose anything like that. They exist, comes in, I hit a nice little Earthquake, doesn't do much damage, I don't really know what I'm thinking. My movesets aren't great either. These Pokemon, you'd expect them to get better moves, but they really don't. We do get the Rainbow Badge, though, and Solar Beam, which is quite awesome. I then go to explore Lavender Towers so I can get the Sylph Scope, and wow, I found a Gyarados, which is, I mean, that's amazing. That's one of the strongest, coolest Water-type Pokemon from 151 there is. How can you be mad about that? And this is a segment I like to call Fix the Gross Team, as we refuse Pokemon into cooler fusions like this Starmie and Empoleon, which is perfect. Gyarados and Palkia. Oh man, that is thumbnail material right there. And then we fuse these two, and it just works. All those worked so well. I'm really happy with how this ended up. As we see a Hauntrevous, which itself does look quite good, I can't lie. Now, at this point, we're getting there. We're definitely coming into our own moveset-wise, and I'm not too worried about type coverage, even though everybody on our team is weak to electric moves for the most part, other than the Dialodon, because it's a fusion with a dragon typing. So this Kabu Edge, I don't know why, but the Ceruledge fusions just always look so good, and we do pick up a Soul Badge, and then after defeating the dojo, we do get a Carvana instead of a Hitmonlee like we normally would, which is cool. And then I take my way to explore Rocket, and I decide instead, let's go and pick up a Mimikyu, I guess. Got a little distracted there, but I did get a Politoed out of it, which was worth. And then once I do get a good way through this Rocket area, we are jumped by Blue, as we normally are when we're trying to save the world. He's just messing around. Now, this Snorlax and Renewlix, I don't even know what this thing is. It looks interesting in a good way. Definitely one of the better fusions we've seen so far. I mean, there hasn't been too many cursed ones. Most of the cursed ones have been on our team.
That's my purse!
Like this one? This one's perfect. I wish we could have done something like Jinx and Hydreigon. That's amazing. And then, yes, this thing is getting stronger, and man, I hate how tanky it is. It was so many issues during the actual fights that I just had to puss out and switch a couple times because of it. And that's alright, because we have 6 Pokemon to his 1, and he's confused now. And it actually feigns to the confusion, which is quite funny. And I lied, there actually was one more, which is his Milzard. And yeah, it works, but not in the way you want it to. It's kind of kind of foul. We don't really mess with the nipples, and yeah, how do you make Charizard bad? Well, fuse it with a Miltank. There you go. One more surf, we gain some nice XP, we take Blue down, he heals us up, and he goes, let's go take on Giovanni. I'm for it, why not, right? He being the boss and everything, of course he's gonna have some interesting fusions, like a Zatera. Yeah, it's like a little cave Torterra, interesting. And then the Darkmander, which is Darkrai and Charmander. It is a baby Pokemon, so we're not too worried about that as we do take out that sweet fusion. And Giovanni's got a nice looking team. I mean, he definitely makes sure Jesse and James pick out the best Pokemon to fuse. As we see, that's my purse once again. That's amazing. Now we're going to target the Darkmander because I'm not trying to mess with that thing. Probably should have went for the Exodus, but it seems like he's got a hard-on for just going for Blue's Pokemon, which I don't have an issue with. Their Spatial Rend doesn't do much. Now, Giovanni's team is extremely over-leveled compared to us at this point, with his Ace being level 57. But we do, thankfully, take it down with no casualties, as it's just the Exegos now. And with the tag team of Blue, we had no issue taking him down, and I'm not too mad about that, as we can now part ways with them for the foreseeable future at least, and we saved it. Get to choose a nice little starter, get a little Golduck, whoopee there. On top of that, we also pick up a Master Ball, which is just amazing. Like, what a nice little side journey, even though it may be required. It's a side journey in my mind. Now we do have to go and fight Leader Sabrina, who leads with her O actually, but it's still really interesting. You know, I feel like unknown fusions can be amazing, especially after seeing this whole form of it. I mean, sweet, right? So I set up a second Dragon Dance, and we do unfortunately get burned, so it kind of wasted, which is really unfortunate, but I can hit a nice crunch, and then another crunch to the next Pokemon that comes in. I get dangerously low, so I panic and I have to swap out to the Mansire. I'm hit by an Ominous Wind. It does a good amount of damage. She does heal up, but another Surf does do good damage as a Razor Wind misses, but then the second one connects, leaving me at 14. But we do take down that Pokemon as we have to switch out for the Volt Free because, yeah, he's a man. He does some damage. Now, thankfully, it did go for only Fire Spin on the swap-in turn, which is very helpful. But then a Silver Wind, my mistake, does quite a lot of damage. And we're not doing too much, but I do hit a very, very nice Rock Tomb that does take it out. As an Choreo comes in, all my Pokemon are low. It goes for a last resort and then Mean Look. For whatever it is, when the Pokemon fuse with Umbreon, it seems like they always take its full moveset, and Umbreon does not have a great level up moveset. So we got lucky there, for sure. We should have definitely lost our first Pokemon. I decide that I'm going to go find Blaine, because we need to get the story rolling. I need to save the world from Giovanni's chaos. I can't be wasting time with you running around in the Pokemon Mansion, man. So we get him out. We challenge him right away. He sends in his Sectom. That's a grass and electric type. Can be very concerning for us, so we definitely are lucky that we led with our Pokemon, who is neutral thanks to the dragon typing. We do get it down as it comes in with the Delmegatar. Definitely butchered that, but I tried my best. I mean, Palkados is hung on by a thread so many times now. 2 HP on that one as a cool looking Lamp 2 comes in. I mean, Mewtwo and Lantern, I'm assuming. Definitely the most unique we've seen. I think this is definitely it's got to be a reference to something. If it is, comment down below. Let me know what this is a reference to. So that was a cool Pokemon. Now, Koffagron, this one's also awesome, but we have no sweat taking it out with a couple Surfs with our Manswire as we get the Volcano badge, and we have 7 badges now. And yeah, I could get used to the sea as I'm going on a little journey trying to find where Giovanni cowered to, and then we finally do get to the nice little mountain on the islands in the Sebai South region of the game. And we battle our way through, and we get a nice dialogue here where he's talking about we need control over Pokemon, the gym leaders, the Elite Four. If we get this Pokemon, we'll rule them all. And he goes, what do you expect to do, Lacy Bear? Cooks our head. And I'm like, wow, we really just can't accept that. He's talking about his lowly henchmen, how useless we are, how the bird's the best thing ever, and yeah, if you've ever played this game, just pick up a move that hits multiple Pokemon. Surf just wipes the floor with this Tri-Bird fusion. It's a little unfortunate. It's definitely a cool battle, but it's not as hard when you can just surf all three at once. But one thing I do want to note is that this game came out with an extreme mode. I've been playing on hard mode for all my videos, and I'm thinking for the JoJo's, actually probably the video after the JoJo's, we'll do an expert run, probably another typing run. It'll be sweet for sure, maybe anime references only for that run. And then after we do defeat Giovanni and make him cower away back to his gym, we can go to Cinnabar Island, which is nice. And yeah, I'm going to teleport over to the rock tunnel, and we're going to go try to see if this Zapdos randomizes into anything. Unfortunately, when I do go to find Zapdos, we found a Chinchino, and the way we've been doing it is the first water type we see in any building or any route we catch, so we won't get to see what that Zapdos was. But that's alright. We go and we challenge the now returned gym leader, Mr. Giovanni. Yeah, I did add Politoed to my list of Pokemon at this point because I hadn't played the game in 5 months, and I picked it up, and this game had massive updates, so I was a little confused where I was, and I was absolutely careless. I played this game in June, got to the point right before Giovanni, and haven't played until this last week to finish the video up. And yeah, if you couldn't tell, we didn't lose a single Pokemon the whole run, and then we lose 2 just fighting Giovanni, which is hilarious. And yeah, he's actually got some cool team comp, and I think at this point, after the update, they added more Pokemon as well as more fusions, so that was actually really cool. That's why I'm excited to play the second half of JoJo's of this game. It's going to be a banger vid. Definitely hit that subscribe button, stick around, because it's going to be sweet. And even though we did have those 2 casualties, I should have just led with Palkados. And this is a new feature. We can get hats now and outfits after defeating gym leaders and stuff like that. So we do slap on Giovanni's fedora, and we look pretty goofy. Now, the return of Blue after half a year of not fighting him, I did forget about the Magnonium and most of his team. That's why I've been saying for some time he's pretty annoying. Like, look at this Luquaza. He brought his A game, and I was just getting back to the game. So, yeah, I'm definitely being careless, I think, at this point, and I lose my Empoli, which is very unfortunate because he was with us from the beginning. That's alright though. Our Ferropert does take down the Sweet Fusion as Droudon comes in, and can't be too concerned about that little babe. Now the Magnonium, forgot about this thing, but when I saw it again, I knew exactly what I had stepped into, and I didn't take that carefully. As I get to 4 HP, I do switch out to my Palkados, lower its attack, and it still breaks through the confusion, hitting me hard. I hit a crunch, which is good. It's confused, another crunch. It snaps out of confusion, hits a blizzard. I'm left at 87 HP. I'm concerned to this point. Odd Thorn comes out. I hit a Surf. It does very ineffective damage. I'm poisoned after this. I decide to go for another Surf. I'm hit by a Moonblast and then poisoned once again. I'm left low. I'm panicking to this point. I send in Mansire, and yeah, he sets up a grassy terrain. I try to go for a Surf to take it out, but we don't have enough. Oh, we do have enough damage, my mistake. And then the Sandris comes in. I hit a Surf, and luckily we do win the battle. And yeah, after all that fun, we can go and get our team organized. But since we did get some L's there, we're going to go back to some routes where we did pick up Pokemon before and get some extra things to fuse with, because we're going to need them to take on the Pokemon League, that is for sure. We'll pick up a Totodile and a Krabby, and then, yeah, this is what we have to work with, actually, so let's see what we got. We got a Gyarados. I'm thinking Gyarados with Gyarados could be cool, but instead, we're going to look at some other things first. That's a Sweet Fusion. Now, this one, Mantine and Palkia, you wouldn't expect anything, but my lord, that's thumbnail material too right there. Gyarados, Quagsire, that's the goofiest little snake you'll ever see. And then another Gyarados and a Golduck. We get that amazing fusion, but this one looks even better. They cooked when they made those, that's for damn sure. And then, yeah, the Cabrawler, or whatever the thing was called, that came out really well. They usually don't look that well when you have weird Pokemon like that you wouldn't expect to be fused. Very nice. Now, we take on our first Elite Four member, I believe it's Lorelei, and she leads with a Dianrock and then a Lycandile. It seems like she has a ground theme going, which is good for us. The Kingark, water, maybe it's dark type theme. Yeah, definitely a dark type theme. But a lot of our Pokemon are grounded fire, which is very good for us. As the Umbreon comes out, amazing duo fusion between the two evolutions. I love it. Now, I don't want to lose Palpatine too early in the Elite Four, so we decide to switch to Kabbular, and we hit a nice Brick Break. It doesn't do massive damage, but it does enough to where she breaks out some heals, and then I just start spamming Crab Hammer because she will not stop spamming Moonlight. Like, she loves to be healthy, I guess. Just wants to be annoying and stall our PP out so we don't have as much when we fight Bruno here. But that's alright. We make our way to Bruno, who sends out his Psylang. Definitely a interesting one here. Looks like a roll of tape almost, or a ribbon. I think it's definitely supposed to be a ribbon. But, yeah. We hit some nice digs on it, do some great damage, and eventually it goes down as the Victorable comes out. Now this is a concerning Pokemon, so I have to look through and make sure we got a Pokemon that can hit a move that's going to do good damage. And Quietos here with the Sludge Bomb should be just that. I actually opt for the Hurricane instead, which does massive damage, thankfully for us. And then another one. It does take the Victory Bell down. Now that Sludge Bomb would have been really nice for this Toka Blastoise fusion, as it is a fairy type water, but that's okay. We can send in Palpatine. It uses Double Edge, which hurts it, and then goes for a last resort for some reason. I hit a Thunderbolt, which does paralyze, and then the paralyze pays off as I hit an Aura Sphere and take it down. Now the next Pokemon up is Murky, obviously a Murkrow and Klefki fusion, and with that we can hit some nice Surfs and a Thunderbolt. That goes down. I don't know what it is with evolution fusions, but they just look amazing. This Noivern and Sylveon is just fantastic. And it is an absolute defensive menace, so I switch out to Ferida, and for whatever reason I went for an Earthquake on a flying type, and that obviously isn't going to work out, as that does not hit. And then I go for 2 Surfs, get Whirlwinded out. Palpatine should be faster, but it's not. I am hit by an Air Slash, which is weak. I don't want to risk it, so I do switch out to our healthy Kabbular, and I go for the Surf, which is 100% chance to hit, unless, you know, we're affected by status, which we're not there. So we go to Agatha now, who leads with her Glaceking. Had a very cool call, honestly. That was a pretty sweet noise it made. Now I'm going to set up here with Quagodos, hit a nice little Dragon Dance. I'm hit by a Blizzard. She's going to start full storing. They like to do that after, any type of damage to other Pokemon. It's kind of weird. And then, yeah, it's looking like Stunzel here is going to do fat damage with that quad effective Thunder. And then we're going to definitely have to switch out for the next Glacian Rock. We get in Palpatine, which is, one quick Surf and it's bye-bye for that lad. Mega Grass can be a concerning Pokemon with the Grass and Ice type. So, yeah, I ponder here for a second what to do. I'm trying to find the perfect Pokemon. I'm thinking our beautiful Golda Gyarados might have to see the heat of battle for the first time, as it goes for a Safeguard, and I miss a Hurricane. I get paralyzed, then I'm hit by a Body Slam. I do connect with a Hurricane through the paralysis, as it goes for another Body Slam over and over again. Sets up another Light Screen and a Safeguard, but I finally connect through the Shadow Claw to take it down, as the Quag Dong Dong comes in. Definitely an interesting Pokemon, if I should say so myself. I don't know what it is with the trainers, but they've had better fusions than we had, at least compared to earlier in the game. They haven't really had anything bad looking compared to what we've had. And with all that, now we are at Lance, our 4th and final Elite Four member, who leads with his Amakyu. We're going to leave with our Quagdos, put that Intimidate down, get its attack going. Hit his Surf, it does a ton of damage, and then, yeah, he's just going to start full Restore and Panicking, and then hits a Protect, which is pretty smart on his part, stalls out a PP from us. Worried about that, I hit a Sludge Bomb instead to save the Surf PP as the Diancie and Rhydon fusion goes down quickly. Now we have a dual fusion Legendary here with the Genesect and the Regirock, which is honestly, Regirock's my favorite Reggie, so it kind of hurt taking it out with the Surf there with our Kabooler, as Palpatine has to come in for this Hypardos because I'm scared of speed. I do not want to lose a Pokemon at this rate. We definitely would if we had stayed in. I don't know what's up with these guys in the Elite Four, but they were definitely prepared to have a team not very accompanied to water. You'd think they'd get news that we're water type only, as their new champion is our rival. But I mean, I guess he changed a lot too, so he assumes we probably do, but we don't, as we lead with Palpatine. And then we hit a nice move, and another one, as he keeps full restoring. The music in this fight is amazing as I'm hit by a Moonblast. It doesn't do too much damage, which is lucky for us. We take it down as the Shark-Tomb comes in. I like the hurricane-looking vibe off this thing. I'm low on PP on every move for my boy Palpatine now. It is definitely getting concerning for me. I have to hit a super weak Surf, but that's okay. 2 more, and he will be gone. And then the third one finally does take it out as we see our arch nemesis Magnonium come in. We are out of PP on so many moves, but we aren't gonna falter. We have our Aura Sphere, perfect counter for this thing. It was so smart to throw this on before we hopped in the Elite Four, as that thing is gone. And then the Dio Bro comes out. I like the name. Definitely a interesting fusion. Dioxys with the Rayquaza on the back. Oh man, that's so weird. But yeah, this thing's definitely a problem. So I finally do swap out to our Quagdos, and I hit a Hurricane. And the Hurricane does confuse and does fat damage, which is amazing, so I can just outspeed and hit another one as the Sandigot comes in, and it sets up a Sandstorm, but we have plenty of damage left from Surf to take it down, as the interesting Quag King comes to say, I'm going to hit that Sludge Bomb, I'm going to get poisoned, and yeah, that poison's chunking. We like to see it. Quagdos, not the lowest thing in the world, but not with great moves. We'll have to definitely switch out to Goldos and try to hit something that can do some more damage. I did go for the Shadow Claw, not my best idea against a normal type, but we do hit a Surf, which leads to a Poison, which leads to us becoming the champion of the Kanto Fusion region. Amazing. His grandfather comes, roast him, chucks us in the Hall of Fame, says congratulations, and we put our Pokemon in, and we've done it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. That JoJo's video is coming soon, and I'll see you next time.